Have you ever had a moment of absolute clarity, made a decision that would change your life, felt unstoppable for 2 or 3 days, and then suddenly, without warning, woke up feeling heavy, doubting everything, and slipping back into the same old habits? This is what we call the recoil effect. The matrix is not just external software, it is biological inertia. When you try to change your frequency drastically, your physical body and your environment act like a rubber band. The system detects that you've stepped out of the allowed operating zone and sends a correction pulse. This pulse doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within through chemical memories and old neural patterns trying to re-establish dominance. You didn't fail. You simply hit the limit of the system's comfort zone. The problem is that most people interpret this recoil as a sign that they aren't ready, or that the method doesn't work. In reality, the recoil is technical proof that you've actually moved the needle. Understand the mechanics. Your old self doesn't vanish overnight. It becomes a ghost in the machine. Even if you've torn up the script, the automatic processes of your old character continue to run in the background, like apps draining your battery without you noticing. These ghost processes whisper old insecurities and project holograms of fear. They want you to believe that your new freedom is dangerous. The architect uses these scraps of code to keep you tethered to the old network. To stabilize your new reality, you must learn to uninstall the residues. It's not enough to emit a new code. You must ensure the junk from the old system doesn't corrupt the new installation. Here is the secret of reality engineering. Your life doesn't change by the intensity of your awakening, but by the stability of your signal. Many seek peaks of motivation or revelation, but the system loves peaks because every peak is followed by a valley. The matrix feeds on this emotional oscillation. The true master doesn't seek euphoria. He seeks unshakable neutrality. Stabilizing the signal means being the same person at point zero, both when things seem to be going right and when the recoil effect tries to pull you down. If you can maintain the frequency of "I am the author," even while the ghost of the old me screams, the system finally understands that the change is permanent. The rubber band snaps. The new reality stops being an effort and becomes your new factory setting. If you felt this rubber band pulling you back and decided that today is the day it snaps, leave a like. This gesture is your first stabilization command. Subscribe to Wake. We don't seek fleeting motivation. We seek the architecture of a new existence. The system counts on your oscillation. Your victory resides in your constancy. How do you deal with the ghost in the machine? You must understand that your body is a chemical database. When you decide to change, your brain sends signals to the body, but your cells, addicted to the chemical cocktail of the old script, stress, fear, scarcity, complain. They send an error message back to the brain, unknown signal. Reinstall suffering immediately. To stabilize, you must apply the purge protocol. Every time the feeling of the old me arises, do not try to suppress it. If you suppress it, you save the file to the hard drive. Instead, visualize this feeling as a background process being terminated. Say mentally, corrupted file detected. Terminating process. Do not give a narrative to the feeling. Do not try to understand why it came back. Understanding the past is just a way to keep it running. Simply acknowledge the residue and maintain your focus at point zero. You are clearing the cache so that the new code has enough RAM to materialize. Here is the technical error most people make. They drop their guard when things start to go right. The system is subtle. It doesn't just attack you with pain, it attacks you with false security. When you start seeing the first results of your new reality, the old script whispers, "See, we made it. Now you can relax and go back to acting like before." The moment you relax and return to old reaction patterns, the ghost takes control again. The operator's vigilance must be constant. Stabilizing the frequency means treating the good days and the bad days with the same neutrality. If you get too excited about a gain, you become vulnerable to an emotional crash when a challenge arises. The matrix feeds on peaks. To be illegible to the system, you must be a straight line of intention. Your success is not an event. It is a frequency maintained under pressure. When the system realizes that neither pain nor euphoria can move you from the center, it finally validates your new level of access. Finally, understand your external hardware. Your environment is the mirror of your old cache. Friends, objects, and routines are script anchors. They were configured for the character you are trying to delete. If you try to run high-end software on a computer full of viruses and old cables, the system will crash. To keep the signal stable, you must perform a reboot of your physical environment. Change something. Get rid of objects that carry the energy of your failed self. Change your route, change the way you organize your day, change your physical posture. The body needs sensory signals that the script has changed. If you keep the environment identical, you are giving the ghost in the machine all the triggers it needs to reinstall itself. The new code needs clean hardware. Complete stabilization occurs when your internal world and your external world stop fighting and start emitting the same command frequency. The system's greatest trap is making you believe you need to fight your past forever. As long as you are at war with your old self, you are still feeding the duality that the matrix needs to track you. War is noise. War is a waste of energy. The definitive collapse of the ghost in the machine happens when you stop fighting and start absorbing. You look at your old versions, the character that was afraid, the character that failed, and you realize they were just processing stages necessary to get here. At point zero, you don't hate your old script. You simply recognize it as software that fulfilled its function and is now obsolete. When you remove the emotional charge from the past, the ghost loses its form. It stops being a haunting and becomes merely inert memory. Fusion occurs when your biological me finally accepts that the command now comes from above, from the essence, and stops seeking instructions from the system's corrupted database. What happens when you finally stabilize the signal? You enter the operating mode the architect fears most, the state of absolute presence. In this state, reality's delay no longer bothers you because you aren't waiting for a result. You are the result. Your external world begins to align with frightening speed. Synchronicities that once seemed like miracles now become your technical routine. Money, connections, and opportunities stop being goals and start being byproducts of your stable frequency. You no longer chase anything because in the vacuum you created by clearing the cache, reality is sucked in to fill the space according to your new code. You have become the ghost that controls the machine. You are inside the simulation, but its rules can no longer hold your consciousness. If you are ready to stop oscillating and start governing your own frequency, leave a like. This is the seal that you understand that constancy is the secret of mastery. Subscribe to Wake. We are building the infrastructure for a life without scripts. Today we declare our sovereignty over the residues of the past. Go to the comments and type the closing command, signal stabilized. By doing this, you inform your nervous system and the matrix that the recoil process has ended. The new signal is now the only authority in your hardware. The recoil has stopped. The ghost has been integrated. The signal is clean. The signal is strong. Do not seek peaks. Be the base. Do not seek miracles. Be the command. I am the signal. Welcome to Wake.